So the next discussion is to harness a long-lasting outcome from deep tech, we need to nurture deep tech talent in a scalable way. Let us hear from Kirti Seth, a business leader with over 30 years of rich experience in entrepreneurship, management, and driving change. She is now the CEO of ITES Sector Skill Council at Nasscom. Let us hear on the strategies for deep tech skill development and growth. Over to you, Kirti.
Thanks, Avinash. Namaste, everyone. Great to be here. I think before I really launch into my speech, I should just clarify what SSC NASCOM is for those of you who don't know. So, we are the certification body for IT skills. SSC is a part of NASCOM. We drive the talent charter for NASCOM, and we develop the job standards for all the IT roles and ITES roles in our sector. Bet most of you didn't know that, but it's something that I think it's really important to understand that that's what NASCOM does. We consult with industry, we look at what are the job roles of the future, we construct the job standards and then offer certifications against those. Those are government approved. We also are the implementation arm for all the government skill development schemes. And we run the Future Skills Prime platform that's funded by METI and implemented by NASCOM. So that's something that you can all be proud of, because NASCOM is nothing if not a confluence of all its members. So this is something that is really doing well, and you should go check it out if you haven't. So my topic really is about nurturing deep tech talent. And I think, like the previous speaker before me, I have to say I'm really not a techie, but I think we've been reasonably successful in joining the dots of how to make the skilling ecosystem work for our industry. If we look at the deep tech ecosystem, it's a whole lot of companies which most of them are not very large, but growing very rapidly. And I think it really came home to me about a couple of weeks ago. I was invited to a conference called Technology and Bharatiya Bhasha. I knew nothing about technology and Bharatiya Bhasha, but I checked out with my colleagues at NASCOM, and I was amazed to hear about all the deep tech startups and companies that are working in this conversational AI, NLP, human translation, voice localization, those kind of platforms. And there's a whole lot of tech which is involved in that. But that's just one problem set. So if we want to make these 3,000 deep tech companies move to 30,000, our job as SSC is really to create an enabling framework. So that's what we do. Apart from running the learning platform, which is Future Skills Prime, we work with the government to create that policy framework. Very recently, we contributed to the report, which was the skilling framework, which was in the report for the National Program for AI, as to what kind of strategies we should have. And we took up, sounds very simple now, but it took us a little time to get to it, where we said that not everybody, it's not a common brush that we have to look at how to train for deep tech, how to train for AI. And when I say AI, I really mean all these digital technologies, because AI never really works in a silo. AI is combined with big data, it's combined with cloud computing, it's IoT, it's all these technologies that we now talk about on a daily basis. So we looked at it as a 3-layer construct. We said that we need to look at a bottom layer of all. That is something where everybody needs to know what technology can do for them. I mean, after all, we're a digital democracy, and the previous speaker before me talked about the Beacon Protocol and the ONDC and ONEST and all these wonderful things that those guys are working on. Then we have the many layer. Many layer is in the middle. We think we should be aiming to skill about 20 million people in that many layer. These are the people who are application builders, who will leverage the foundation models and the algorithms and all the tools that are available to build solutions on top of all these Gen AI tools and all these low code, no code. I mean, so many platforms available now. And then there is the few who are going to be at the top of the heap, They will be the world class software developers, the designers, the architects, and this is the group where most of the deep tech companies will emerge from. This group needs deep domain knowledge and as well as a supportive environment to encourage them to incubate the ideas to make a business. And why do we need them to get into a business? I mean, eventually, if we want to realize value of deep tech only comes when we create IP, and IP will have value only if there's successful business at the end of it. So that brings us to another insight, which is that not all deep tech talent needs to be deep tech. Deep tech companies also need many people that will help them build a successful business. And that could be as simple as programmers, those could be people who do marketing, those could be people who run projects, those could be people who run finance. I mean, we're hearing so much about how all companies need to have a governance structure because so many problems have come up because the governance is not okay, or they just haven't had time to look at their structures. So there is a whole ecosystem that needs to be created around a deep tech company, which allows them to be successful and to thrive. So what we do, as Future Skills Prime, what we realized was that these companies, the deep tech companies, don't really come to our platform to learn because typically that deep domain expertise is sitting with the founder or the person who created the program. But where they do struggle is to find the right talent. And we had come to this conclusion that an offshoot of Future Skills Prime should be a portal that we call the Talent Connect portal. This is a Nasscom portal that has been created where skilled people who've got certified on our different skilling initiatives are available. Companies can come and post their jobs for the particular skills that they require on the platform, and hopefully, we will be able to do the matchmaking for them. This is a nice little sweet spot that we discovered where smaller companies don't really have a platform to aggregate, where we're really focusing on tech skills. So that's what Talent Connect portal has been set up. It just got launched a couple of months ago. We have about 100,000 people on the platform now. On the deep tech skills, I think the numbers are still small, but what we really want is for companies like yours to post their jobs in the portal, and that creates a virtuous loop like where learners who got certified see that these aspirational jobs are available, they get encouraged to learn, and that's what sets the cycle going. So in conclusion, I would say that the deep tech ecosystem, what we do as Nasscom is first and foremost build an enabling policy framework by participating in different forums with the government, different types of skilling for different audiences. We need to do some crystal ball gazing so that we can be prepared for the future. You can't just create skills in a vacuum. For example, right now, the big thing is working on semiconductors and quantum because that's what's really going to lead to jobs in the future. We had the similar situation for blockchain a couple of years ago, and now that is not really in a crystal ball gazing phase, but we every time new technologies will come up. A big thing that's coming up is how to use the tools that are built using AI, because so many beautiful applications are being built by what is readily available. So that's really in terms of how we nurture the deep tech ecosystem for talent. I wanted to give a little overview and maybe leave a little time for questions, because what I find is that very few of our members, and especially in this audience, know what Nasscom is doing around this. We had when we looked at it, and I mean, if somebody is listening to this and is able to actually comment on it, we said that we're going to look at four categories of how the impact of AI will play out in the workforce. One of those, the first category was where a huge amount of disruption will happen. Those will be the low discretion, the clerical, secretarial jobs. Look at translators right now. Today, when I just go to Microsoft Word and I just click on translate, I get such a beautiful translation of any document I have in most of the major Indian languages. So these will get highly disrupted, and that's where we call that we have to adapt. Which jobs are going to have to adapt to the new world of work? Then we look at evolve. These are moderate disruption where we will have functional specialists, IT developers, and we're seeing this, right? We're seeing people using tools like GitHub Copilot to improve their productivity just to write code. Here, the existing job roles will evolve from maybe say a graphic designer to a AI enhanced UX designer. That's the other thing that's happening in the deep tech system. It's not just the engineers who are going to be looking at technology. The technology spectrum has become broad based because there's all this beautiful stuff available, applications that you guys are building. When I saw something like Devanagari, or what kind of work that they do in terms of voice localization and human translation, it's fascinating. So these are the kind of things that will fall in the evolve category. There will be AI assisted job roles like customer support or AI powered, AI powered. There will be chatbots, but even customer service representatives will be supported by AI. There'll be core AI job roles where they will go into software development. There will be an ethics officer. There will be responsible AI specialists. Then there'll be coexistence, where technology and people will be working side by side. This will be in the area of, say, legal advisors, which will use AI platforms to make their work more efficient. But there's a high amount of discretion involved over here. So things like project managers, architects, legal advisors, they will coexist. We see low disruption happening there, 5 to maybe 30%. That's a wide range, I know, but crystal ball gazing is like that. And then where there's almost going to be very little disruption, that's the human uh, jobs where plumbers, electricians, surgeons, people who actually work with their hands, where AI will probably not disrupt them too much. So, this is the categorization that helps us to identify what are the skills we should be looking for in the future. And as a standard setting body for the IT industry, we work with industry to help us in this crystal ball gazing. I have a board which is comprised of Nasscom members, which is the governing council for the Sector Skills Council. They give us the first level of inputs to say, hey, this is what is going on. We work very closely with the Nasscom's insights team. They are the ones who are putting out all these beautiful reports. And we're so proud that most of Nasscom's reports are actually now being quoted in most government statistics, and they rely on them. So we have a huge responsibility to make sure that we say we do that right. What we read in the reports is what we then, as the SSC, try and validate it, what we see on the ground. We are currently working with about 1,200 colleges. We have about 1.5 million people on the Future Skills Prime platform. We do 300,000 IT certifications every year. We work with about 300 companies on the platform and another 100 companies off the platform. So we have a lot of on the ground interaction as our ability to then validate that what we are reading in our reports, is it actually playing out in the real world. So as far as the deep tech ecosystem goes, I think it's the frameworks where we really have a role to play, and these are important because it decides where the government is going to spend its money. If we say that we need a million people at the top of the pyramid of our few, many, all construct of the AI skilling of the tech skilling frame pyramid, it's not that much if you really think about it. What is the investment that will be required to make it happen? We can think of looking at funding it. We can think of asking the government to put the money where it's required. If you say 20 million, obviously it can't be done. But if we size the problem, we're able to come up with solutions. So that's really what we're doing on this ecosystem. I'll stop here. I think I'm out of time. And if we have time for questions, I'll take them. But otherwise, thank you so much for allowing me to speak with you.
Hey, Kirti, thanks. Thanks for sharing the multidimensional view of deep tech talent requirement, right? And the kind of infrastructure you guys are building in order to bridge access as well as aggregate needs. That's wonderful. And also the policy influences that you're making to ensure that there is sustained talent availability. That's wonderful. One question: how is all this affecting the cost curve? How are you helping bend the cost curve?
Avinash, the cost curve is really a business decision, but business decision finds its way into talent because for our industry, talent is the raw material. We will see the cost curve getting impacted by the productivity tools, obviously. So we will see that definitely the cost coming down over there, but then the cost will go up on the other side, where as the skills that you need become more and more complex and more scarce, shall I say. Because as AI and these technologies take over across all industries, it won't be just the tech companies competing with each other. It will be the non-tech companies jumping in too. So, I think if you're skilled at this moment in these technologies, this is your day in the sun. I think while we may be reading a lot of doom and gloom about what's going on in the tech industry and what's going to happen, I don't think the situation is bleak for anyone who has the right skills.
Thanks, Kirti. Thanks for sharing your views, your time with us.